Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to teamfortress.tv for the kickoff of ETF2L Season 42. I hope you're all doing fantastic. My name is Lucky, and tonight I'm joined by Dr. Underscore on production, and also DuMmTm as my co-cast. How's it going, pal?
Pretty good, pretty good. New season, new me, you know the drill. Season 42. It's been so long since the last season, but we're ready, we're back. A slightly longer break than usual between seasons after the very short one between the last two. I guess it's greatly appreciated. And once again, to nicely tie this as well into our next LAN event we have as well in the summer.
Oh yeah, Insomnia, it's coming, ladies and gentlemen. I-69, let's go. Book your tickets now. The tickets are all out. It's been announced on the essentials.tf Discord, so if you want more information, pop over there or check on the Twitter, and you'll be able to find all the information you need to go to that event. Should be fantastic. But tonight, for the first game, I'll quickly say it in case they go live, we're going to be covering 4 Fence versus Venomcrest Pythons. Venomcrest Pythons, a new org apparently done coming into the scene, bringing with them a roster that we've seen in part before, and mix and match players with Hai, Vanu, Tiram, KN, Yak, and Poi. Opinions on these boys, Dom?
But by in part, it's just a lot of faces you've seen around the Yak roster before, right? Vanu last season and Natos for that matter, or Hai this season, I should say. Name changed here. Gotta keep that in mind. Gotta change that in mind as well. So many faces that are familiar with like Yak rosters, especially in Highland. I think the only one that he hasn't played with in Highland last season was KN, I believe.
Yeah.
So in that part, it's a roster, as much as it's a new product, I would assume has some sort of synergy from the past together already here. However, for the most part, they didn't finish quite as high as they would like the past few times they did play with one another. So they still have some catch up to do here with the top of the tables. Much more so, maybe, however, the opposing team might have to do even more than that. There's some people that played Prem before, but by all means, not that strong familiar face recognition there for that roster, despite having so many people that played Prem before as well.
Yeah, indeed. And on the other side, for 4 Fence, we've got QB, Juxta, ALX, Brugman, Alien, and RDM. So this is to me, when I saw this roster for the first time, I was intrigued to the max, Dom. Juxta, moving on to Scout, originally was a Scout main before, but playing Medic in Prem for his Prem debut. Moving over to the Scout class now, he's doing a QB, swapping over some classes, but it's rare that you see Medic swap over onto DM classes, so I'm excited to see how he gets on. But I know him to be a pretty talented scout, so I'm waiting for him to pull out the frags. And also Brugman coming up through the ranks, and RDM as well. RDM, absolutely excellent medic. Coming up through Div 1, he smashed the game wide open and, really changed the way that a lot of Division 1 medics played the game because of how he played. His survivability was absolutely crazy throughout the season, so I'm happy to see him in Prem this time around. So super excited about these rosters, but if you are interested in other rosters, we do have Street Debills and the League of Shadows going on TFTV2. Dom, your opinions on the League of Shadows for this season or Street Debills? Which one do you reckon is going to take that game on the other?
In a way, it's
stream?
a very similar situation to this one, right? You have the one roster with established Prem players for the most part, heading off in a new season with some people that played with each other before on Flick's roster for sure on League of Shadows, but also some new faces that will make this a very exciting roster to see develop over the course of the season that I'm still expecting to pretty well overall, with likes of VNC and Top 5 Rocket, New Panther to really be fighting, to be the ones fighting for the playoff spots behind the top dogs, behind Team 2 and Witness Gaming, who would be a disappointment to not see playoffs this season. I think for themselves, as much as everyone else that is fans of them, really that's the teams to beat for those guys, and we'll see if any of them can combat them here going into the LAN season, where, that is motivation enough, I guess, to try to put up a fight there, to see what you can do going into the LAN event. On the other hand, similar situation there for Street Devils. A couple of people that we've seen in Prem before, playing for a very short time. Garu obviously on
the shortest
Medic.
of short times.
Well, I mean, hey, the one time when Nunya cut half the players was not much longer either.
Yep, true.
But yeah, Street Devils, and then Gedu and Medic as well, played Prem before, of course, a while ago at this point. Since then, on these Czech rosters, which eventually devolved into this one, of course, they have the cohesion, they have the energy for it as well. They put all the keen boys together here that they could muster from the Czech Republic this season, which is why you can't see some of the faces you might have seen from the Czech Republic's top teams, but they're ready to game either way, and we'll see if they can put up the fight they want to do here. They're not expecting themselves to be the top contenders by any means. I'm sure 4 Fence doesn't quite either, but any win over these two, any teams they can beat behind Witness Gaming and TF2 is huge, I think. Both just for morale in general, as well as for a chance at playoffs potentially. That's going a long way to keep up competition there and not just be the last two place teams, which I assume many people expect them to be, maybe if not themselves. But if overperforming is just a matter of getting one single win this season, then, an easy task to get, I suppose.
Yeah, do you remember when Yak's team managed to be the only team in the season to take points off of Witness Gaming when they won their season? Do you remember that? It's like 2 seasons ago. Week 1, they come out, guns blazing, and they get a draw off of the team that ended up winning the whole damn thing. But of course, the Yak team folded. Of course, with natural fashion. They got consistency is key with these rosters, you know what I mean? But between this game between Forfence and Venomcrest Pythons, we'll just talk about it real quick because it looks like they're about to go live whenever. We do have Process and Gullywash week 1 maps. We've not seen either of these teams play just yet, so we're not sure about who's going to be favored on what map. But if you were to take a stab at it, just looking at the rosters alone, who would you say has the upper hand?
It's hard to say. I want to just say VNC might be the favorite matchup on either map tonight. But the extent of which I'm not sure. These Frenchies are keen. They're coming fresh off their own LAN event as well, if you remember correctly. That happened a while ago as well. And all these guys that you're seeing here did incredibly well at event 2, having some of the top finishes there. I think particularly Bruchman stuck out to me as well. Someone who is first time in Prem this season, but has been around the block in Div 1. And so for a little while now, just stuck with these French rosters for the most part. And really played a really good event at LAN. So I'm hoping they can keep that up a little bit here. On the same note, I guess for both sides, it's interesting to see how they will do, especially in a map like this, where you can take your freedom sometimes. Because Alex's been somewhat fresh. It's only not the first time he's played it, but for a long time he played pretty much a scout primarily. So a rather recent change in the grand scheme of things. On a rather new player, all things considered too. We'll see who will come out on top here. Now it's Yak's turn to be the established faces in Prem for a change. Can they defend their position?
Let's see if Old Man Yak can bring it home as we are going live, ladies and gentlemen. The first game to kick off Season 42, Week 1, as we're heading into the first move. VNC going to be taking it very early on. Both double soldiers doing the fast roll out there, so moving on to the high ground on the mid, taking a right side stance, whereas on full fencing the left hand side. High bombs in from the blue soldiers, in really deep onto the medic already. Poise taking a bunch of damage, but these soldiers are just getting cleaned up. The scout's in a perfect position. Varney's just going to be cleaning up here. And Poi eventually gets taken down in behind though. QB with the pistols take down Poi. And now we're going to see a bit of a refight from Choke here. I don't know how much I fancy these chances, but they're slowly whittling them down, splitting them up. We've got QB being a nuisance in the back line, but unfortunately he gets cleaned up as well, but he does trade. So it's going to kind of settle down here, Dom.
That was by all means decent bombs. It did what it needed to, right? Poi goes down, they have their men out alive as well. No one else took too much of a risk. It might be a bit of a problem here as well. They had them all cornered. No one tried to contest them all too much in the end and really clean up these kills. The soldiers put them so nicely in front of them, but that doesn't mean you can't take mid again. This Uber advantage could go some distance right now, especially by the looks of it. They don't have to use on mid right now. Oh, never mind. Maybe they should have. Walks right into the spam fight they did not see coming. RDM goes down. There goes the survivability you talked about down the drain in 2 minutes in Premiership.
Yeah, this is, that's my cast a curse in a nutshell. It just immediately happens. There's no waiting for it. My curse is that strong, DuMmTm. So, unfortunately for RDM going down, Yak finds the pipes, and now it's going to be a 70% Uber advantage to Poi. So, going to see how we want to take this one. VNC look like they're just going to be busting through choke. There's only one player in behind, it's Bruchman. And I think he needs to get a move on if he's going to make anything happen. He's going to be heading over towards IT, but he has been spotted. So we'll see if he can actually make anything happen. Moving into lobby is VNC already. They are on the chase, and Bruchman looks like he's not going to be able to do anything at all here. They're already coming towards last time. They pop the Uber, heading in towards the point. Sentrigun goes down immediately. Point is being played. Gets the flash out onto the scout, though. He's getting pelted by the heavy, and it looks like they are going to get on top of this point here. Sticky's all over the place, though. Good defense coming out from Alien, so he's buying quite a lot of time with this. But his teammates are falling all around him, and they're all just going to get cleaned up one by one. Desperate attempt coming in from QB, though, onto the point. Can he defend it? He cannot. VNC going to claim this first round.
Yeah, Alien did so much work there. Even at the end, after it already done, still gets one more kill with this trap from point. Almost looked like it was doable, but it was still a 2v1 in the end. Can't pipe them fast enough. And there you go. VNC gets the first round, looking good for the freshly sponsored lineup here. Venomcrest looking good for now. It's very early in the game. Can't be too getting ahead of ourselves here, but I mean, you gotta worry about the mid-fight. Frenchies did good last time here. Let's see if they can keep up that fight.
Yeah, Alien's on the low ground. He's already down to half HP. Good sticky from Yak. dealt a crucial amount of damage there to keep him away, and also the bombs coming in towards the left of the point again, and RDM once again chilling out on that left-hand side, super far back, but the rest of his team has died, and QB is in so deep that he's not going to be able to run RDM out, so RDM is just going to have to run without scout speed and just dodge the soldier. He does do so. KN just messing up the rocket there, hits the wall, and unfortunately can't clean it up. Tyrann's going to come in for the final kill on Brugeman, but RDM crucially escaping this mid-fight.
Alright, not bad, not bad. Much improved for VNC in many ways. They didn't let QB be really a nuisance at all this time around. He's just kind of a liability at this right here. Still in the fight even, but just died really late because of it. I'll couple that with just the bomb. Sure, it's a very targeted effort to get the medic, exactly, and it did do that again. So you get the second chance here for mid once more, but that's also all at this time around. No one else died around the medic, and no one else was allowed to go deep this time around. They really tried to get in deep as well on the French side, but they didn't let them at all. They get good damage in return. Let's see if they can still make do with what they have. Super advantage once again has to do some heavy lifting into mid. This time around, a lot more resistance here, but last time all it took was one pipe.
Yeah, the slow take into mid here. RDM making it really slow getting in. The spam from Tyrann was quite large, so RDM down to half, and also Alien down to half. Does get an arrow, and he didn't manage to kill off Tyrann, but trade it out for QB here as well, and it looks like we've managed to see a bit of a survival here coming out from Poi. He's going to be up to 95%, RDM with 100%, so we should see our first stalemate of the game. But of course, DuMmTm, we're down to our 5-minute rule set, so hooray! We're going to have garbage time.
Yeah, I feel like that should have been our talking point before the game started. Rule set slightly changed. Win limit 5 instead of win difference, so no more trolling at 4-0. You just win and that's the end of it. And shorter round timer here as well. It was apparently very popular in the vote as well. I think 3/4 of players wanted it. So you gotta live with the consequences now. You gotta make something happen fast, and Bushman being the one to try will not really succeed this time around. Still plenty of time to go here, basically fresh timer after the slow mid cap, so maybe it's VNC's time on the draw now. The soldier behind taking a lot of tension away, maybe not the one he wanted, but it's what you're gonna get, and I mean, it gets everyone else in uncontested through choke. They're getting all the way in deep drum with a nice little kill down to Alex, taken down in return, but it got Juxta caught in the crossfire for the counterfrag, so still looking pretty good for VNC, all things considered.
Oh, looks like we're going to see a trade here. Running in his cube, he does get the pop into Yak, but unfortunately it's a worse Uber for the blue team here. And QB's actually split up from his medic, not allowing him that scout movement speed. Now he's caught in the choke. RDM ducking and diving, doesn't manage to dodge the iron bomb V as it sits on the ground and blows up underneath his feet and takes him down. And Poi is just sitting so far back. He's trying to bait in these blue players with his positioning on this medic. So Alien's going to move forward and immediately get cleaned up there by High. So he gets taken down. And Alex also going in and feeding his life away. And nice survival coming out from Poi. Really on the ball this game is Poi, apart from these mid-fights where playing on right side is difficult. But other than that, he's playing pretty perfectly.
Yeah, really good stuff by VNC. All the way forward into last is go seconds to formality at this point here. RDM switching to crit streak, the classic Lego strat from the past. Getting the crits up, ready in time for the post-duper potentially on last. Might just be the clutch comeback factor you need here, but that's a long way to go before that even matters. For now, it's the gun, it's the sniper, having to do the heavy damage before the Uber maybe even can do too much of anything against his teammates here for the medics. So here it is, Uber in on the left side, coming in right away, looking for whatever they can get. Medic sounds good, doesn't quite get in the end, and the gun stays out of focus for a little while there, but there we go, both soldiers combined, gets that thing very quickly. Now it goes to point slowly but surely.
Laser beams are going to be online. RDM has that crit streak. They pop out. The laser beams are out. That soldier's getting melted, but unfortunately the heavy goes down. They clean him up with the scout going from Juxta. The crit onto Tyrann takes him down. And it is going to be a defense here. The Connor strategy is that's how I've tokened it, by the way. It's the Connor strategy, because I think Condor was the one who used it the most in previous seasons. But it does work out in the end. They get that defense. The time limit was up. That crit streak did get built. It was a really, really good focus fire from the beginning there. Yak taking down that sentry gun very early on as we actually hit a pause here. Yeah, I just felt like it was a very clinical push, but in the end they took way too long. The crit streak did come into effect. If they were on Uber on the side of 4 fence, I think it could have been a little bit of a different situation there.
Yeah, you can't expect that. Obviously you can see that, but if you're in the middle of a last push, it's hard to have that as your first thing in mind to look for the enemy medigun particles or model, which is really hard to see anyway, and notice that right away here. So no real blame to VNC. You can win slow last pushes on this map for sure, but not if you are being preempted like Forfence just did. The crits did all it needed to do, right? It wasn't a fancy one that destroyed them completely, but it just picked up enough people that they could just run into out of last, and pick up the medics before you get out in time. They were faster than that for sure, with no scout around, and there you go. We'll have... Well, we gotta hit our 10-minute stalemates anyway. I'm getting the update. It's QB that crashed, but he is trying to reconnect as we speak, so this can't be taking that much longer, probably.
Yeah, indeed. It gives us a couple seconds, though, to assess the situation of what's going on. Poi is currently on a respawner, and Yak has set up a sticky trap on mid underneath the bridge. So we'll see if they spot that one out there. Doesn't appear to be a trap by Choke, so I do believe also we got Vanu on Sniper in the forward spawn, so he's going to be sniping out as well, trying to knock some heads off. If you can catch RDM with a stray sniper bullet, it could turn the game around in VNC's favour and potentially even generate a last push. Depending on whether he hits his shot or not as well.
I didn't even realize RDM switched to Medigun as well.
Yeah, he ran into spawn.
Yeah, that's always a nice thing to see here. It's just gonna make this a little bit more awkward than VNC might expect this to be. But sometimes people don't even think about it anymore. It's just too much stuff going on out of last push, and it's just keep going, quick. Into second it goes, maybe into mid now as well, like you said. But there's a lot of things waiting here, even without heals. They're wanting to make this difficult for them. Sniper is largely being played around. Drum in the back, a little bit less so, gets the jump in there, but RDM barely gets out, and the follow-up spam. I respect Ken trying to just shoot the back wall of Choke to hope the medic backs off into it, but RDM knows better than that, will not touch any of that splash at all. Somehow avoids both of them, and that will do Uber advantage. Still up 30%, about into second. That can go straight into last if they're not careful on VNC.
Yeah, I mean, really good position there from RDM, knowing that he needs to run forwards instead of running backwards, and that takes some balls to do. But also got the bombing from KN and Tiram just trying to take this high ground here, but they are just getting battered away by these scouts. And ALX is actually going to drop here and go down. But Yak still definitely defending this ground, but they pop out the Uber into Yak. He goes down. Poi's going to get caught in one. He goes down as well. And now we're going to see some capture time coming up here. Can they find any more here? That's the crucial thing. The soldiers just bombing in. They need to get the space and damage down. Otherwise, they are just going to straight up lose the round. And High going in, trying to get on top of Jackson. Does manage to clean up that frag. So a little bit of chaos and does manage to slow them down. But also in onto RDM is High, taking him down. Alien also in trouble now, as he does land one pipe onto him. Can he find the other? And he does, taking down High. But QB and Brugeman also feeding their lives away in towards last, getting a little bit too overzealous there, Dom.
Really a chaotic situation here, and this is where QB timed out as well, of all places, where they really need one more body maybe to try and get the counter-frag on Medic again. Alex already trying, but to no avail, shot down by everyone on the high ground on the point. They will defend this one with their lives. They tried at the beginning, didn't work so well, but they kept fighting, and sometimes that's all you need to do here, just make this a longer and longer fight. But Frenchies think the same of this. Bushman caught for it early, maybe the rest of them want to fight still either way, but with soldiers down, it feels like they know better than trying to stay in at this point, and will let VNC have this cap on mid, and with this much advantage, they probably will keep going anyway.
Yeah, I think Yak is willing to push on even 10% ad, so I mean, any ad is a good ad for them. So just running in here is VNC. They're going to be taking this point quite easily. Very little defense coming out from four fences, as much as they could there, but they're going to lose Alex in lobby early on. Now this could be terrible for them. They get him for free, they use out the supercharge, and it looks like they're trying to get on top of this pirate, but they're air blasting onto the point, and it looks like they aren't going to be able to block it. They get suspended in the air. The body block from KN jumping off the point to stop the soldier. Incredible play from him.
It's the classic, just not being fast enough to rotate happens to so many people so often, but I mean, VNC worked hard to not let them get this wall for what it's worth. Barely managed to sneak that one in with the body blocks, and that will do it just about. VNC with 2-0 lead. Anything that gets them further away from losing is a good start to the season here, and there's plenty of time to make that just a straight win with no questions asked at some point. If the mid-fight just go a slight bit better here, if they keep Poi alive at this rate, this is looking like dangerous momentum going their way.
Woohoo! Alex just walking out of IT into Yak. Just managed to pick him up there very early on, and looks like these two scouts trying to barrel down this left side. So they swap from being right side all the way over to the left now, which took a bit of rotating to do. On top of Poi, the rocket barely misses. And it looks like they do manage to get RDM out of this mid, and also Poi does manage to survive here. So red mid going their way.
Alright, well, it's the first mid win they get. Proper one anyway, without any strings attached, like Medic going down here. They can keep Poi alive, get forward as well with this. It's Uber up on RDM already. Slight disadvantage maybe, but with players down, it's so awkward to want to really contest this regardless of that. You have to expect them to have as well. And it's just going to be a question of how much they want to fight, and they just are so awkwardly caught in the middle of it. Barely in at all, but already forced way too early. 2 down each, but with so much free space to take off of the Uber just not being forced at all. BMC takes this point, no problem. And this is just looking like a last push waiting to happen now.
Yeah, this is the kind of blitzkrieg we've come to expect from the week 1 Yak. You know, he just seems to play like flipping Cadus during week 1, and then as soon as it gets to week 2, bam, team folds. But you know, doing it here in the first one,
maybe
it looks like he's going to get it towards Larson. Now they're getting up the sentry gun. It is going to get cleaned up very, very quickly. Barney's playing the point as well. Does receive the beam from his medic though. It looks like they are desperately trying to get onto it, but it's a very slow defense. But the bomb comes in from TyRam. Good damage has been dealt. They pick up 3, and they're going to get on top of this point here. Alien gets absolutely battered. QB runs in. He's going to go down as well. It's going to be 3-0 done. Very, very dominant here from VNC so far.
Yeah, good stuff all around. Keep this lead up nicely, and like I said, win them at 5, win difference 5 doesn't matter. It's just 2 rounds away from Eva, and at this point, they might be getting there.
Yeah, it looks like they've got the momentum now. As soon as you get to this point, it's 3-0. There needs to be a bit of a mental reset and full fence, or VNC are just going to continue crushing them here. Fast run out from ALX is going to be taking the high ground, gets them 1v1 with KN on the pack, goes down immediately. It's not what you want when you're trying to salvage this game. TyRam gets traded out, however, and onto the right-hand side. Yak's taking that high ground though, moving across the point. Nice air shot from KN there. Denies Brugeman from taking the high ground. Into the point is Juxta, trying to get on top of Yak here. Can he find it? Double scout to defend him. The domination onto Juxta coming out as well, so he's getting destroyed this game. Bombing in towards RDM, but RDM is going to be retreating out through lower with QB on the beam. Nice arrow onto high from Poi to keep him alive as he was taking that 1v2. And looks like now things are going to settle down, but red team going to be taking this mid.
Yeah, I mean, the narrative is shifting slowly but surely. It's just VNC getting better and better throughout the game here. Midfights are no question anymore. Get this one over and done with rather quickly. Matt's still alive just fine as well, so all looking good to keep up and extend the lead at this rate. However, with RDM surviving, unfortunately, from their perspective, it's not going to be that easy to get into the second point. Last time around, it was a whole convoluted mess to get this going out of this stalemate, but once again, shorter round timer is forcing people's hands a lot sooner now, and with that, we're even still seeing Sniper maybe, but also as the first thing on the agenda.
There you go, KN landing that first headshot there. He's going to be pulling that one out and rotating his way around to Sewer. They're just going to play this slow game on the side of VNC, but the Ubers are actually getting forced here, which is not a situation you want to be in if you're VNC and you have a sniper, but looks like blue team are actually going to be retreating with their Uber. The rest of the blue team is just nowhere to be seen with Juxta and QB being dead. ALX is actually in IT, and he's going to get destroyed by Vanu, so him going down as well, and it looks like VNC aren't slowing down whatsoever. They're actually running in through 5. They're getting the space for the sniper. Alien's there just to stop the aggression. Running in though, gets cleaned up by TyRam. QB also picking up the kill onto Yak to deny any more aggression. KN's going to go down in the doorway as well, and Vanu only just escaping. TyRam with the defense of his ally there, and also this level 2 gun is up, so I think no more pushing coming out from the side of VNC. They're going to retreat back into second and just take an even Uber situation.
Alright, well, not quite what was intended, I assume, but it could be much worse. Like you said, Ubers are still up and building on either side here, so will be even Uber spies on the field as well. I don't know if they checked for that at all, but QB sure is going with it. Alright, at some point you gotta draw some desperate measures, and at 3-0 down in the first half of the game still, just barely, something's gotta happen, something's gotta make it
This
work.
is classic QB, you know, he does this quite a bit. Like, this is classic baguette gameplay, as it were. Going the spy class straight away. I smell a Frenchman in the air. He's going to be on top of this point here. Could have gone for he's going to have a couple opportunities here to stab by the looks of things. Heading in towards lower. He's going to hit the uncloak. He's running in towards Poi. The body block from the scout is there. Vanu randomly running through the corridor. Blocks QB and unfortunately unable to do anything now. And they're one down on last defense, but Vanu's getting chucked in. He's not going to be able to rejoin this push now. But it looks like everyone else just dies. RDM going down, dropping the ball. And it looks like it's going to be another round. VNC, absolutely massive.
Yeah, this is going incredibly well for them here. And at this point, it's match point, right? It's just one more there, right there. It's a matter of if the Frenchies' spirits are broken, because that's the change now with them at 5. They can make the comeback happen, but they can't afford any mistakes along the way. They can't drop a single round anymore, or it is game over. This has to be flawless from here for the second half of the map.
Let's see what they can do here. No real changes to the mid strategy, but VNC with a double spam into Alien. He goes super low. Playing passive once again in this choke, but this double fast rollout seems to be working out for VNC quite well. It's really slowing down the aggression coming out from full fence, but Fugazi on the low ground. KN's just going to get cleaned up. First one to go down here as QB finds that frag. Bombing for ALX, massive damage. TyRam's going to get caught here. He goes down as well, but it looks like they do manage to find Poi in the choke, so for the first time in this game, it feels like full fence are on the front foot.
Yeah, even the wood fights, they got the medic and they kind of were just really passive. This time around, aggression will work.
Oh my god.
With some differing opinions about that one. Will lose the 1v1 vote against QB, just about with the pack helping out a little bit. But one fight is the one fight. They will take this one as far as they can, hopefully. but you never know what disaster might still lie ahead. There's a lot of traps all around Zac, and Yak is just fiending for the opportunity to kill RDM like he did on mid-fight number 1, but it's not quite happening just yet, so on to last it probably will go. They're ready for it anyway. They have the gun, they have the heavy, they have some sort of defense set up, and that's maybe all they need to stall for enough time to stall out the super.
Looks like they're going to be running in towards last. They still haven't not used. This is really, really good from RDM. And they've only just used it now all the way across the point. This Uber is going to feel like it lasts for ages for the red team. They're rotating back across the left side with it. But it looks like unable to really find anything else other than Tiram and the sentry gun. So a defense coming out here as high as just battering them with that Tomislav at range and unable to really do anything else. The rotation from Alien just was not there. A little bit disconnected on the beam. And now they're in a situation where they're pushing second. Point going down again. Oh, dumb. It's so unfortunate. KN's going to get cleaned up at top IT as well. And Yak running back through one with his tail between his legs.
Bushman just in the standard solid position, and they just did not look up in time. The soldier waiting there needs to be more expected than that, and they just wanted to be quick out of last, I suppose. It will be punished greatly right now. Ken still down, even they want to make this a drive push if they can. Gun, no time for that to be set up, but the sticks on point. Get 2 in a row, and that's just too much to handle right now. They're having to leave, but as long as the man escapes, it might be fine. Big chase, but even bigger pipe. Alien with Bushman's head takes down 2. As much as that's a lot of collateral damage, they are getting their men out alive.
Yeah, they do indeed, but my god, Alien with that crisp pipe managed to take it down, but Brugeman gonna be bombing out here all the way back. He bombed from top lobby all the way back into sewer, so he's gonna be chillaxing, relaxing, and 4 Fence aren't taking their foot off the gas. They're gonna be running in through lower IT. They have this Uber ready to go, running in. Can they find Yak here? This is the kill that they do want, and they are gonna find it. Cap time already down. QB is going to be making it as much as he can before they get this push going, but they need to hold the W key now if they're going, and it looks like they are going to opt for a bit more of a defensive gameplay here. They're going to go back to the choke, knowing that Poi has this full advantage to play with now.
Yeah, on the flip side, BNC could very much play with this advantage, but there's so much to lose right now. So why bother? Just sit on that for 4 minutes and then going back to mid. Suddenly that sounds very good actually for the defending team for a change, so maybe they take a little bit of a breather here and let the Tiram have his fun. I mean, he's thinking about it anyway, but don't really even need the med kill right now. Just gotta make sure no one does any funny business on the other side.
I wonder what VNC are thinking right now. They have this full out to go off, and they could have just like run it in, even if they lose the round, then they just could win the next one, you know, but don't want to take any risks by the looks of things. They want to get that clean 5-0s. They're just going to be chilling out on last. I'll wait for 4 Fence to make some major mistakes and then push out eventually. But RDM's going to be sitting on top of this point. He's in a bit of exposed location if there's a peek from 2 or 1. So looks like that is not going to be the case though. High's going to be sniping from lower lobby and just peeking that angle, seeing if we can find any feet to shoot at.
Alright, time's ticking, and every second is just ticking against 4 Fence, mind you, as well. They're sitting on the stalemate and they can't afford that. There's not much time left. They need a full 4 rounds. Getting the first one sounds easy enough. They're already in last, but even then a full 3 more is not an easy task at all. Especially when you're just sitting wide in the open, getting picked apart like that, getting sniped in gun range of all things. And the aim will make the cleanup happen.
That was just unfortunate. It's actually the rocket that killed him. You rarely see those rocket kills, I feel like. But, you know, moving in now is Tiram of KN as well. But RDM dropping, though. Oh, no, what's going on? They're all feeding their lives away. This Medical Poi is just dancing around these pipes. He does not care at all. But Juxta running in, 2 rocket down by KN. I've got to assume that, KN definitely has the battalions now. So they've got battalions and a full Uber to play with. And it looks like we're going to see some rat gameplay here. We've got Brugeman and QB heading into second, going for a bit of a backcap play here. Let's see if they can turn them around or get around here.
Alex needs a nice jump to actually get in there for the block, but he bungles to jump a little bit and doesn't make it to the point in time. They even get Trav on the backlines, but that just doesn't matter anymore. The camp's already wasted. Mid is out of their hands now, and with 2 people behind us, 1 down as well, that's just 3 people in front of you. That sounds like the easiest second push of their lives.
Yeah, not opting to go for it though. We've got Brugeman in behind and they've got the sniper as well. They don't feel like they're comfortable enough to push here, and Yak's just going to be running in. And Poi actually does have to use out to save Yak here, but can Yak find anything at all? The answer is going to be absolutely not, and they lose everyone here on this push. And it looks like the sniper is truly backfiring.
Well, it was a funny idea. Unfortunately, funny doesn't always win games, I'm afraid. And for now, I mean, they might still be winning for what it's worth. They just are losing a little bit, and they need to lose a lot at this point for it to matter. Can't let this spiral out of control, though. If this is affecting like the way they approach the game right now, they're starting to take this a little too casual at this point. This could be pretty bad, even with only 9 minutes left at this point here, because this is looking really good to make that round happen with.
Yeah, indeed it is. And also now we've got stickies all over this point from Yak. And no Uber currently in play for RDM. He is still currently building, but Brugeman getting low is going to need an arrow, but they desperately want to get this Uber. Actually, the pipe comes out and forces that Uber off, so it's going to be Brugeman trying to spam this gun. And a soldier is not the thing you want when it's just being directly healed by an engineer. So they're just going to lose everyone here again on this push. In fact, it is going to be Juxta taking down Fugazi. But RDM again outside getting taken down by High. High is just on the chase. He's on a bit of a tear right now, taking down ALX as well through lower IT by the looks of things. He goes down. Juxta's the last one standing, and it will be a full wipe here, Dum.
That was so tragic. That was the least focused fire I've ever seen on the last push. They see the medic, one shoot that, see the gun, one shoot that, and then nothing really takes damage at all. Nothing much happens the last. It was so tragic, but show must go on, and as far as VNC is concerned, maybe not for much longer. They have big advantage. No, never mind. Maybe it's one, and the sniper behind them. So actually, they don't have advantage. Never mind.
Oh, he was like out in the open, Dum. Like no one was looking at him, and he just walks over and shoots them head.
Why would the sniper be there, right? Why would you have to look at that?
Oh my god, that was
anyway, that's KN immediately making up for it. Good man.
Yeah, good man, KN. Good job. And looks like now we're going to see a situation where it's just Yak left alive. Can he do a 1v3? The answer is going to be... Oh, nearly gets a shot there, but does manage to get out through choke. And he does survive. So it's going to be full fence getting this point here. But Yak has that ever so crucial 10% Uber to play with. And it looks like they are going to be trying to play aggressive into this mid. They do get back spawn, though, as the cap comes through only just in time.
Alright, well, time is running out slowly but surely for fans. They need rounds at a rate that is hardly sustainable and conductive to smart gameplay, but at least as long as they're playing the game, they have a chance, so just keep pressing buttons, most of which W, hopefully. Maybe they have a chance. He's not going someone on the flank. Alex just taken out by Kane, early drum, helps him out there. This other soldier takes a lot of damage here. QB barely gets that kill here, but everyone else in the combo in the meantime gets in pretty much without a fight at all, so far anyway, but I mean, it's mostly because VNC is just letting them. They're falling back with the Oli. Yeah, taking another round just to see what's up. But are they actually contesting? Yes, they are. No soldiers. Let's go, guys.
Yeah, they're just running in here. Also, oh my god, boy, what amazing arrows. The millisecond that KN puts down that escape plan, he hits the arrow, but it doesn't matter. He's going to get picked up by one. They're all getting this.
At like 99 too.
Welcome to the own zone. Jesus, they're going to get around it. Oh my god.
That's one for the sport, but I mean, hey, it's still possible.
They've only gone
3 rounds in 6 minutes and a half. Get around each 2 minutes. That just roll from mid pretty much. We're cutting it close. The last midfight wasn't bad for what it's worth, but the last gameplay seems to be much better, and then maybe they have a chance.
Let's see here. Heading into another mid-fight here. VNC with the reset. They only need to get 5 rounds because of the rule change, so they don't really care too much about this one round going the way of full fence. It doesn't really do much to them, but now we are seeing on the left-hand side where we've got full fence just chilling out on this roof. Brugeman's going to be bombing in here to see what he can do, but it looks like he's just going to get cleaned up immediately. QB going down as well. And also, we've got the Vanu going down on the right-hand side, cleaned up by Juxta. So the first frag going the way of full fence. And now they're in a very, very tight and bad situation with RDM just out in the open. He's getting chased by 3 players, but the defense from Juxta does manage to keep him alive. The bomb comes in, and they get him in the end. KN with the cleanup on RDM.
Alright, we'll see how it goes here. A little bit for 1v1 here. Well, it's really a 1v2. It looks like. Ooh, never mind. KN will actually take down the scout here as well. Yikes. So rush one here. Boy, with so much advantage out of all that too. They have nothing to worry about a bit as long as they keep an open eyes on top of the point and see where everyone's coming from, and they're doing a good job of that. But also, Poi is just kind of openly open on the middle of the point. He walks forward and immediately into the danger, which, as long as it cleans up people, they can keep up pace from here. Go forward with this. 1 down with 1 spawning just now is doable in 2 seconds.
Looks like now we've got a push coming in from VNC, but unable to really do too much here. KN is going to be on the low ground, trying to get on top of RDM, but the bomb comes in from Brugeman. He's trying to find Poi, whips the first rocket, does land the second, deals a hefty amount of damage, but unable to get any clean up here. And RDM all the way back by 1, getting giga spammed and cleaned up there. Nice arrow coming in from Poi as well to clean up Juxta. QB goes down as well. ALX, the only man left standing, and Dum, this looks like it could be curtains.
It very well might be. Poi has so much advantage. RDM will spawn in 5 seconds from now, but by that point they basically have Uber. And then it's just 1 push, and they got this one in the back. And we've seen them be able to do these. They haven't felt these quite as much as their opponents have, so Sounds like a doable enough job to do here, and it would save them all of 4 minutes or so, maybe 3 by the end of the push, if they just wrap up the map a little early.
And let's see what they can do here. We do have this Pyro once again coming up from QB. The Uber comes in, but it's a double sticky jump coming in. Just sends himself straight to the ceiling. Double point play happening here. Alex is going to go to defend it. The Sticky's have been dead, and they're running up to the point, and they get the round. It's going to be 5-1. GG is the call. The first game going to be going the way of VNC. Very, very dominant in this week 1 first official match.
Yeah, it took a little bit for them to really get going. The mid-fight certainly took a minute to get there for sure, but the second all of it was in place here after like 5 or 10 minutes maybe, there was just no stopping them anymore. They got around there in the middle somewhere, but that was by in part because VNC just needed to keep themselves together and actually get themselves to put this over the line and managed to get this working in the end. 5-1. Beautiful scoreline to round out the first map with here, looking strong, and we'll have some more numbers up on stream in a second anyway.
What do you think were the key issues that Full Fence are facing in this game? Do you reckon it's just like, getting out-experienced, or do you reckon they were just out-fighted or do you reckon it was just the mid-fights, or what do you think it was?
A little bit of the first 2 things you mentioned. Certainly, experience issues were showing, on especially the last pushes, right? And even a couple of second pushes where just a bit of focus was lacking. It just became a bit of a mess, with no one quite knowing nearly as much as what they had to do as they needed to. But also just VNC took these DM fights like they had no chance of losing any of them. And while it wasn't quite as true as they might have liked, it was true enough to work most of the time.
Yeah, indeed. And also, I think if you scan your eyes over to the logs, you'll see that ALX had a very, very difficult game. I don't blame him because aka Nuthouse, went absolutely mental.
Yeah.
He got 26 kills in this game. He just destroyed them massively. But Yak as well, going 11-11-11. Very interesting scoreline, but dealt a ton of damage in this game. Up there at the top with... how much was that? 328 DPM? Holy good lord, that man. He's slapping in week 1 as usual. He's turned it up to maximum, and the team was probably going to fall in the next week or so.
Well, you never know. For now, it's working, so why bother speculating about what could be one for now? It's all going well. Let's not worry about who they might be playing next week either. But yeah, for now they're doing well. Vanu with a good game too. I mean, yeah, I did numerically better, but who really cares when you have also just double the heals, so... details. If you're on the beam, you have to do this well, right? Otherwise, why do you get these heals, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, that's how they play.
Yak does the damage. They basically were just one player. Yak goes in, High cleans up. Fugazi, ASK, KN, and Tram just do whatever they want, it feels like sometimes, and it just works. Yeah, and the opponents just really need to find a way to keep up with that. The last pushes were a bit messy. The mid-fights looked promising, right? The bombs were pretty nice in theory, but there was just so little to follow up so often up until the very end. And by that point, it was much too late for them to keep up with it. Couple that with just a couple of like random mistakes in there where people sneak behind, and it led to just the mat dying every time it happened. And then it's just a disaster going forward from there, where someone on the flank most probably just didn't quite do the job he needed to do here, checking things, and then it's just falling apart from there. They're taking these small openings the full distance.
Yeah, I mean, Kane and Tyram, it did feel like they had a pretty free game on their hands whenever they were bombing in towards mid. I think mid is like the hardest part when you're a soldier on process, but because they were doing these super fast rollouts and spamming into the choke, they were hitting the scouts and tagging them off the rock and tagging this demo man, so the heals were kind of all over the place, and it gave them a lot more space to play with on the mids. Just because of the damage that had been previously dealt from the fast rollouts. So I feel like it was a lot more organized from them, and then for the most part they had a pretty free game. KN absolutely smashing it, getting some incredible bombs off. Even in the last pushes, he's literally just sacrificing himself to get 3 rockets in the faces of the enemies, so doing that sacrificial playstyle. But we'll see if Full Fence can change it up, but we're heading in towards Gullywash as our next map, Dom, so opinions on this.
Ooh, that will be interesting. Isn't this also like Ken's like technically second season? I didn't think he finished the first one completely. I think that was in fact the Nunya season, if I remember correctly. So it's been a while since we've seen the man here. He's been stuck in Jada Hell, I believe, ever since, as his punishment for getting kicked, I guess, out of corner team. But it's going well so far. Certainly had some good moments to shine through, and looked like more than just a DM donkey some people want to write him off as.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what Full Fence are going to do. I mean, RDM, I don't want to call him out now, but RDM had 3 drops in this game. And, sometimes it just happens first game of the season, you got that first official jitters going on. You know, they're a real thing. It gets in your head a little bit, especially when you're playing Prem, and you haven't played Prem before. This is your debut, and you know that the TF2 audience in Twitch chat, I know you guys, you're gonna rip him apart for dropping Ubers. You're gonna go Omega lol dropped Uber +2 whatever in the chat. It does get in your head, and I think after you drop one Uber, you're kind of okay. After you drop a second Uber, mindset in the bin. You know, like it's hard to get out of that mindset. You know, when you eventually do get there. So I feel like RDM is going to have a mental reset after this game and just come back into it, and hopefully they'll have a better time in Gullywash.
Well, they all do have to do that for that matter here as well. It wasn't like, I mean, it wasn't a good game, of course, otherwise it would have been closer, but it wasn't like a fight without a chance at any point, I want to say, so it's going to be an awkward one here. You feel probably at so many situations individually that it's just doable, and then it just all falls apart in small ways, maybe big ways sometimes, it depends how these fights really go, but it just feels like everything goes so much easier for your opponents, and you just have so little time to adjust to that, so little time to adapt to whatever they're doing now on the first map, let alone you have a little bit more breathing room now between maps, but there's also a different map, which always changes how you approach things, of course. Gullywash, at least a familiar face. I don't think we have a really standout weird map this season, to be honest. Maybe we could have been going towards LAN, I suppose, but it really just comes down how they've done their homework here. You had a little bit of time knowing which maps were the first two to really put all your efforts into Process Gully, so see who did the homework.
Yeah, let's see. From what I've seen from the Yak team and their scrim results, they've been doing pretty decent when it comes to Gullywash, but that's just because Yak explodes whenever he plays Gullywash. Definitely insane with the DM is this man. So when you've got a demo man that plays like that and goes super aggressive, takes a lot of heals, then you've got a winning recipe for playing Gullywash by the look of things. So I am fancying, after watching that first game and after watching their scrim previously, that this VNC team have definitely got the special sauce to get another win here and to get their season off to a great start. So we'll see how they're going to do. Yeah, but and the other teams as well. We've got a little bit of time before we kick it off. What's your opinions, Witness Gaming versus TF2 Easy at the top of the table? Because I believe that we all think that those two are going to be the top two teams.
Yeah, we have that's like one of the two games this week, right? The other one being New Pants against Top Hat Rocket, which game, also will be really interesting on Sunday.
Yeah, it will be.
For everyone. The second one, TF2 Easy against Witness Gaming, will be next Tuesday for anyone curious. They have decided to delay this a little bit to keep you guys on your toes about what might be looking like the top dogs of the season here. I'm very interested to see. I think it's an easier call to make. The TF2 Easy will be doing well. We've seen exactly the same roster they have this season do well in the past before. It's a slight change from last season, but it's basically back to, 2 seasons ago, whatever they last played with and won. 3 seasons ago, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
The full squad is back together there, and that is frightening to know if you are literally anyone else in Prem, even Witness Gaming, who had to have a lot more work being done to get the roster back into playable shape here with the changes they have, including picking up Ixie, who good, of course, but still a new face. Mulan Medic now, which they've played with for a little bit longer than Ixie for that matter now. Yeah. And some minor things like Domo being back on Man, all of which really good for our own class, of course, but we've not seen it in this exact lineup before necessarily, so it's going to be interesting how it all works together in the end. I'm very curious, I'm very excited. I think they should still be good by all means. If not better than TF2 Easy, they are still the second team to beat by all means, but they're keen, they're ready for LAN, and they want to be putting up the fight, and we're expecting them to be able to put up, so I'm hoping it all works out exactly as they would like, because that just makes for a more entertaining season overall, if everyone on all of these teams for that matter is performing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's like Bum made that little graphic that we used on stream a little while ago about Ascent versus Nerd Rage. And they were just like, one team would play the season, the other team would play the season, one team would play the season, the other team would play the season, like over and over and over again.
And Mac is just stuck in the middle.
Yeah, Mac's just there. He's just in the line.
But now he's gone, and suddenly they're both there.
Yes, maybe that's a special sauce. You get rid of Mac, and then you get both of the top teams. So
I can't believe Mac ruined it all.
But now we've got them in the same season, and also we've got Ascent at some true power, you know, when we got... Obviously, when you get Pappy and Thomas in the team, you're going to see some power, but now they've got Silentas as well. Super interested to see how they're going to do, but we are getting ready here in our game. Venomcrest Pythons versus 4 Fence. Map number 1 went the way of Venomcrest Pythons, led by Yak, so Gonna see how they can do on Gullywash. We're heading in towards our first mid. Yak with a very fast rollout, heading in towards choke. And also Tyram's going to be fast rolling in towards lower. It's a very early rocket though. And Poi is going to manage to get up down to half HP. RDM doing exactly the same thing. Bruceman's going to go up through drop down. See what he can do in behind. Gets on top of Poi and Yak by the looks of things. And he's in very deep. But RDM's getting chased down the other side by KN. Nice little surf from him onto the low ground. Tyram can clean him up here. But it looks like it's going to be a scout just running in, and everyone's going to die in this mid, but RDM's just standing still, just waiting for his death.
Well, someone had to find the kill binder for a second. I just leave the man to their own devices here. I don't have to do anything. This is checkmate. You just have to accept that fact. And gets a little worse spawn wave than the rest of them, but it could be much worse. So it is what it is. You were advantage for VNC in more ways than one as well. Of the close spawns on the medic, Poi picks up the Crits Creek. Two can play that game, it seems. Not just RDM can pick that thing up. Poi now with the surprise crits here at some point. We'll see. They can maybe see it coming in some capacity, but for now they have to worry about the fight at hand, and that's already a lot to deal with here. Juxtagov's gonna bomb onto the combo, but the pipe will land right on his own head. Yak will take down Alex. Don't need to hit an air shot when the guy is just on top of you.
Yeah, very, very nice. But also we're seeing Poi with, I believe, that's a crit screen that I'm seeing for him. So he is going to be making his way in towards lobby, and Yak is going to have it. Let's see what he can land here. The crits is popped. Flying in, he gets RDM with the first sticky that lands. Finds another one to Alien, another one to Juxta. So much damage has been dealt. And now it could be absolutely curtains, but they managed to clean up nicely on 4 fence. It's now a 2v1 high on the beam. He does get cleaned up, and Juxta finding the damage onto Poi as well. It's going to be able to clean this one up. It's going to be a full wipe for VNC. It was looking so good in the beginning there.
This was the inverse problem that 4 fence had last map. This was too good focus fire. Everyone bombed exactly what Yak was shooting, and that already died anyway. So that was just a waste of time there in the end with little cap time to back it up. And suddenly it's just 4 fence trying to get to second. It's a bit of a mess. The sniper tries to be annoying for that one, but Vanu won't do much in the end. Actually just walked up by QB, and suddenly this might just be a push into mid swap.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be. They're in through big door as well. Nice sticky placement there from Yak, just denying a little bit of space there for Alien to get in. Does eventually manage to clean it up, and they do get into the mid here. They're going to have 6 times cap down. Can Vanu get his spawner? He is going to. And he's going to swap back onto that scout class. We've got a soldier above choke as well, but very wisely heading in towards, looks like actually they are going to be going for this choke push here, they got KN above. Are they going to be able to spot it out in time here? Jumping in, they do spot him out immediately. KN's going to be jumping away and retreating. RDM nice and in, nice and clean.
Oh,
Never
no.
mind, I'd say that. He walks into 3 pipes.
Yak just keeps shooting and shooting and shooting from Shutter. He's still there, just spamming pipe to his heart's content. No one's stopping him. No one can stop him. There's too many people in the way of that. And he's just delivering the damage from the back lines for everyone else to clean up. Vanu gets 2 more. And that's just the end of that one. Yak didn't even have to go anywhere to be the winner of this fight.
I didn't think I'd see a world done where I'd describe VNC as a disciplined team.
It's strange, isn't it?
A Yak team being disciplined. I'm so confused. But I've got to point out that
They're
High
growing
and
up
Vanu,
so fast.
Yeah, they grow so fast. High and Vanu are just sitting in the perfect position every time. They're just doing this double scout deny onto anything that tries to land on Yak or Poi, and it's just working out perfectly for them, doing this double pocket scout essentially. Like, they're even all grouped up going through choke here. Double sticky jump in. They use the Uber in crazily into second. They're not going to find anything at all with it because they blindly use in. But they are going to get second for it, but now they're in a horrible situation where RDM has 80% Uber to play with.
I wouldn't call this a blind push, it was a calculated risk. And you know was a sniper, someone already got shot at. So they just figured, well, if we just go deep, we don't have to care, but they had to go much deeper than that, unfortunately, and that would be the end result here. Not much to grab for VNC. An all to game for 4 fans now. They can get back second, they still lost a point, but not very long it seems, and good advantage to mid. If they keep this momentum up, this will be a blue point very quickly here. Threat on the backlines is real though, there's just everyone trying to bust through choke, taking a lot of damage for it, and neither Vanu nor Tyram will do enough in the end to actually get away with a backup attempt that they can exploit whatsoever, so point on mid will still turn to.
Block the spawners is the name of the game, and they do that with 5 seconds to spare, and now it looks like they're going to be going for this choke push once again. 90% Uber for Poi, so building very, very quickly, and RDM not through the choke just yet. They're playing a lot slower this time around, but Yak's just walking forwards out in no man's land. They do use the Uber defensively just to keep him alive as the blue Uber now comes out as well to ALX, but none of these blue players are actually in. They've just got Juxta and Alien moving onto the high ground. Now ALX is going to be jumping in through the choke point, but Vanu in below the point. And Fugazi and KN are in! Massive damage! RDM goes down. They're all going to die. Oh my god, the bombs from these soldiers absolutely destroying them. Vanu's going to clean up as well. QB is the last man standing here on this point, and he is going to get 2v1 and go down. A wipe for FNF.
Well, sometimes it's all that you have to play smart, and sometimes you just have to DM beast exactly where your main caller calls you to be, and they did an incredible job of that, just picking them apart. Unfortunately, however, as good as that might have been, all that sure gets them safe safe out of the fight, but also without an Uber advantage really to speak of too much, 10% maybe, of just people picking up Poi faster there, is not much to really keep up momentum with here, so we will just keep the tight scoreline intact for quite a bit longer this map than last one.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a much better series here, so we'll see what's going to happen here. Looking at the scoreboard, by the way, we've got Vanu up there with 21 points above his medic.
Speaking of Vanu too, I am massively surprised we have seen exclusively scattergun from Vanu so far. They never do that, but somehow, speaking of growing up so fast as well, someone reined that into their heads today, and maybe for the better. I mean, results are speaking for themselves, I suppose.
Do you reckon Yak's finally cracked the whip and thought, no, this is how you will play.
We're not going to lose to Flick this season.
They just don't want to lose the League of Shadows, that's all it is. But looks like we've got a bit of a stalemate going on. But I'm seeing a banner up on the side of
They've done that
VNC.
a lot.
Yeah, they really enjoyed their banners, especially with this 5-minute timer. But definitely enough time to build it if you're playing as aggressive as they are this entire time. Running into Alien, they get the Demo Man. Amazing pick. teamfortress does trade it out, but it's not going to matter too much since it is a Demo Man here. They could take a trade in, but once again, this double pocket scout strat really working out for VNC.
Yeah, just a revolving big door of scouts walking in, seeing what they can get away with, and seeing who will dare take the fight. QB it is, but that's just the first victim, really. Goes down here, Bushman on the flank, Captain checked by Ken as well, just sitting in choke, constantly threatening the fact that there could just be another bomb coming from the other side as well.
Oh, they finally accepted their fate and have gone for a trade, but they drop Yak off the Uber and Poi pops but doesn't get anyone else. They need people to run to this Uber now, and they do get the flashes out to defend the players, but they're all super weak behind this rock. Can they survive? Bruisman jumps in and does deal some damage, but RDM's just going to die alone on the point. Alien is now up and back in the fight after being spawn camped by Vanu. So it looks like they are going to be popping out this banner as well. Fugazi is keen to shove.
Alright, well, that works really well for them. We're surprised this fight ended up being this nice for them. Like you said, the 4 fans just had to accept the fact that they had to somehow get out of the corner there, but they didn't put themselves into a much better position, really, in the posting where they're just completely surrounded, and they made quick work of them on BNC. And here's the battalion. KN tries to lead the charge, but Vanu did not get any of the damage first. Walked over the Bushman pretty quickly. Ken, afterwards, on the low gun, all alone. Where are my friends? Who knows? Bushman just takes them all down.
Where are my friends? I love that. That's so good. Now we've got one player just running around low. It's going to be teamfortress. He's going to die here. Nearly gets
no
QB
airblast.
there. Yeah, wow. QB needs to practice his pre-game pyro, I think, to get those air blasts on point. But now they're going for a bit of a push out here. They have Alien doing the classic. He's in lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a demo man and you're playing Gullywash and you're pushing out of last, you are in lobby, sir. Otherwise, you are throwing the game. And it looks like now they're running out towards second with a few players, but the rest of the team are running into last. VNC with their Uber charge getting on top of RDM. He nearly goes down here, and he's going to be inside the shadow. Bruisman gets on it, but they hold Bruisman above the point, and they just cap it.
He gets juggled on the medic's head. He couldn't even land on the point, and then he gets spammed up by a projectile too. Oh, that's the kind of wacky shenanigans you see on Metalworks, but not on Gullywash. And it's gonna cost them the round. This was a 9-minute round. This has gone so back and forth compared to last map. But VNC still comes out on top for now.
Yeah, VNC was some very aggressive gameplay. I like the gambit that they went for there. It worked out really well. But keep running in towards Yak. Can they find Yak? Eventually they do, but they basically lose 2. We've got a soldier who's no longer going to be in the fight. ALX with some beautiful rockets to take down teamfortress has totally turned the fight because Poi's on the low ground now. Shoved into the floor. ALX is going to find another kill here, but Fugazi on the backline doing exactly the same thing, dealing so much damage. Can Alien find the pipe to defend himself? They're both in pipe range, but Fugazi's going to collect the pack and come with the cleanup here. And Poi is going to be alive on this point, only just.
Oh, they're getting desperate on us as well. They don't want to lose another round, but I don't know, sometimes the desperate gameplay is the one that's the most exploitable here. Sniper up, Chris Quick up again, and the Sniper tries to go really deep. QB very weak, but the fight keeps going in lobby for people that try to help him out, and mixed results. They get the kill. Really weak players though overall. Alex tries to keep up the fight. Jerome takes the shape on, juggled into the wall before the rocket leaves the launcher. Unfortunate to say the least here, but they're still up against the full Uber, so how much do they really do with this? And the answer seems to be a resounding no from all of them in French. as they're sitting on last, just having the gun up and building this crit squeak to have anything ready for the last hold.
Well, at least they've got this crit screen. Now, Yak's coming in, but they have no soldiers and no overhealed soldiers at that. So this is going to be very, very bad if they don't get anything here with the Super. Looks like now the laser beams are coming out. Yak's getting munched, and he goes down. They're going to find 2 or 3 or 4. And it looks like Tiram and Fugazi have got to try and salvage this. But like I mentioned before, neither of them are buffed or healthy at all because they pushed in so fast. And Tiram does get taken down here. Fugazi in river is just going to be skip jumping out, surviving very, very wisely.
All right, well,
Alien?
crit coming in clutch once more.
Where's he going? Fugazi's going to last! He's not stopped them! He literally jumps around them, he's on the point, and he gets it! Oh my god, what a play from Fugazi. What a gamer.
It's 2022. KN is the smartest player in Prem. This is the future Liberals want.
Did you watch that? Oh my god, what a play.
Alright, well, that's one way to get the 2-0 lead here. Suddenly, from a close game, we've just gone into a Clown Fiesta, and the VNCs are the circus directors. They are having this whole thing fully in their hands.
Wow, incredible stuff from VNC, but another mid-fight kicks off here. We've got early bombs coming in from the FNF soldiers, but VNC playing nice and slow under the airing that is there, and also they're all going to die here underneath it. So the soldiers coming with the bomb, and High gets cleaned up on the low ground. Looks like eventually FNF are going to win a mid. Holy god, Fugazi here is in behind, and they are very aware that he is there.
Well, we've seen this man win a round by himself before. So never say never to just the single solely behind play. What if he gets in uncontested on the medic? Well, has to get past the demo moment first of all. Can't afford to lose that guy either. Alien has to be careful.
Let's see here. Vanu is building a sentry gun straight away, something that FNF have kind of been a little bit allergic to so far in this map, opting for a heavy instead on the defense. But
Kent just wants the MG fight on mid. He doesn't want anything else.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything else done. He only knows how to add Gullywash mid, but it looks like now we're heading in towards last. The pirate is defending the sentry gun quite valiantly, but it's also going to drop down into secret rather than running back into spawn swap into heavy. And he's going to be remaining there as a bit of a nuisance, spraying flames onto this point. He's going to get weak here. Alex on the point as well. Point needs to be absolutely careful. He's going to get batted out. Yeah, he's dead. He gets a rocket to the forehead, goes down. Bruceman. What the hell was that? Dumb, please.
Prem Pyros tried to hit one air blast challenge.
They can't do it. It's someone disabled, like air blasting in the config or something.
Where's Gazi when you need him?
Gazi, come and show him how it's done, for the love of God.
Until next week for that one, I'm afraid. Anyway, another pause gets called. It looks like it is the Frenchies calling it once more. Maybe it's QB crashing once again. Don't know that for sure. Do not have the intel there. Last time, Yak told me, but he also told me just a scout timed out and I had to check it was QB. This time around, I don't actually know. They just called a pause.
Yep. So it could be a, I don't know, it could be a fast, you ever heard about the fast round pause, the mental reset pause?
Not one of those.
Any predictions on fast round pauses?
Well, I have the spoilers in front of me, so I can't say anything legally.
Oh, that's upsetting. You need to stop looking at the spoilers, dumb. It'll ruin your casting experience.
I'm just doing it when there's a pause.
I assume someone's crashed. Hopefully it's not a medic, otherwise it is just poo-poo. But I think that FNF with that round now, they're going to be like, oh, boys, we can do it!
I mean, you got it, right? It's still close enough anyway. They got the last round last time when it was 4-1 or at that point, so kind of a dire situation at that rate. But now it's still all to play for here. Plenty time as well for that matter, which could be really, really helpful to at least tie this up, right? Claw this into the golden cap at bare minimum, get any points out of the matchup where Yak probably didn't think he would have to worry losing any.
Yeah.
We'll see how it is.
We shall indeed, but I think that last push coming out from FNF was actually quite good for the most part. They managed to get the Pyro to run away into secret by layering up a bunch of stickies underneath him rather than shooting rockets at the sentry gun. And from there, they just slowly whittled them down because no one was really being healed. The medic was in spawn, so they just had a relatively easy time. But now, the pause has finished, and we're heading into the next bit fight. Done.
Yeah, it was a very dominant map one for VNC. A lot less so far, but they're still ahead. So really, what do they have to worry about?
Nothing at all here. VNC, once again, very fast in towards the mid, and also the ball's coming out from Brugman. He's going to be trying to get into elbow. Does land a good rocket to Fugazi to clean him up, and also Varney's going to clean up the frag onto Brugman for his aggression into lower. But ALX on the low ground does see narrow, does receive one. Going to be jumping up now, and absolutely denied against the wall by 2 scouts. And that is in the pain zone. Juxta gets juggled as well, and he's going to die as a result of that pipe landing right in his face. And Yak is just going to be absolutely dominating this mid. Poi's already calling for a big dog push, and they're already locking down second dub.
I don't know what the pain zone is, but I don't want to go there if this is what it looks like. So, into second already. Tram getting a little bit ahead of himself here. Tries to go really deep into enemy territory. He will just about get out with an arrow. Yak, however, caught in the crossfire. QB pushes the soldier, gets a Devilman in front of his crosshair instead. We take those very quickly, but it's a trade for eye here. They're going with it anyway. They don't want to keep stuck on the losing end. They want to start winning. However, this is not what winning looks like, I'm afraid. They're losing so many players, slowly but surely trickling in one by one into this point on second. And end result is maybe RDM still alive, but desperately so having to hold on to this Uber against what is going to be just a team keen for the force.
Yeah, they just get the force straight away. They just get a nice rock onto RDM, and they survive. They just run away. Very, very nice stuff. But the pause, this is, I guess, where it is, and now we got the full ad push coming out for Poi. So heading in towards the shutter door, Yak is going to be on the beam here. The sentry gun, only level 1, gets cleaned up immediately. QB up on the pyro once again, but he's nowhere near the point. Does receive a rocket. He cannot air blast anything, apparently, like you mentioned before. Brugman on top of this point does defend it for a little bit longer, but they haven't found any frags on the red team really. But the reflect pipe kill gets 2. Yak and High go down. Varney on the point as well. Gets cleaned up. Fugazi going in. He dies as well. Finally a reflect.
QB redemption arc, you love to see it. Now hit 1 against Taram. Nope, never mind. He dies from the afterword while taunting too. He knew it was over, but he did what he came to do.
What a stressful time it is. QB hitting a lol in chat as well. But High in big door here, he goes down immediately. Getting a little bit of an overextension there. The push out coming in from FNF. They're going to be taking the second point off them here. And RDM also survived that entire thing thanks to that reflect pipe kill that happened. So now they're looking for a choke push here, which can be the most dangerous one to go for. Stickies are currently in the wall, in that little spot. Don't know what to call it. RDM hasn't checked them. He's going for the Stickies down. Oh my god, he didn't dead.
What? For what it's worth, you were more scared about that than they were. They just didn't know. There was no fear in their minds.
Oh god, my heart. I'm gonna have heart palpitations if I ever see that again. But you know, moving into 1 second, they do actually get the force off. Yak and Teram do die for it though, so that's not worth it in the end, losing your demo man and a soldier. So FNF now just going to leg it into last. Poi doesn't have Uber, they're just going to push on player advantage alone, and they're getting their soldiers in, both of them bombing in towards water here. Good defense here. ALX with some very crisp directs. They're just going to clean up player after player after player. And it's going to be High and Yak desperately trying to defend the point on their own, but they just flood the point and get the capture through, and it's 2-2. We've got a draw in our hands, done.
Yeah, maybe it was a tactical pause. They just figured out the secret sauce, and it's starting to work slowly but surely. The Frenchies tying this up for the first time since 0-0, which granted this map lasted quite a while as well, but they've clawed it back. Can they get this any further? This is still such a long way from the game being over, and they're still not winning for what it's worth.
Yeah, they aren't, like you mentioned, but can they make it happen here? Brugman with another really aggressive jump on mid, goes down to very low HP, but ALX in elbow on his own is just going to get immediately killed. And it looks like FNF would just want to get out of the mid. They do not want to be here. Poi actually going down, though, and RDM eventually getting cleaned up there in the doorway. Very, very
just
unfortunate.
An execution by High. Just wait for them to come their way, and that's just everything they wanted dead right in front of their eyes. One more nice one for Cat, I guess. We take those, but it's an awkward one, right? Both bets died makes this a little bit more complicated than just taking the point here. Yak thinks differently. He just wants to have the point, so he just is there shooting pipes as best as he can.
Yeah, he does.
Oh no, he gets air shot. He gets air shot on top of that. Saved from fall damage.
Oh, what? Oh no,
oh,
the double pocket scout. They're in the scout chariot. High's in the skybox. Boys, okay, they're all dead, done. Okay, they're dead. This is good for FNF. They're doing a thing, but RDM is also, you know, currently dead, but let's just ignore that.
Think about it this way. RDM died so fast, he got the same spawn with his Poi.
Yep. Let's think about it that way. But looks like they're going to be able to go back onto this midpoint now. They're going to eventually get this capture through. And VNC, they did get forward spawners. Poi actually coming up here, so he's going to be healing up his frontliners. They'll be able to defend second for the most part here. So they're lucky that they got that. Otherwise, they'd be looking at a little bit of a push coming out from FNF. But it's just going to be passive for the time being. Both teams are going to look to build Uber and then see what they want to do here, Dom.
a small little breather in a very messy game for the longest time now. Maybe just what both teams need to really get themselves sorted out a little bit more and think 2 steps ahead instead of just the single one right now. For now, QB didn't really do much of that. Just face first into big door is not the way to win a 2v1, I'm afraid.
In big door is Varnu just running in here, just taking on the space. DuMmTm is in as well, going for a sack in towards. I'm not sure who he was going for. He's in.
He's going for the small pack.
He's dead. Yeah. Anyway, the Uber comes in from VNC in through the choke. Doesn't find anything at all apart from the Uber of RDM. So looks like it's just gonna be even here. But Fugazi in through drop down does get spotted. Bombs up onto RDM. He's trying to get him. Can't eventually find it, but he's surfing around. He does get Alien though. So he's managed to turn it around and point Yak on the low ground with Varnu. So they are currently defending, but the sniper is currently out from QB. Lands the first headshot onto Varnu. And Brugeman bombing in towards Yak does find that kill as well. So Poi's running away. But QB with the just random sniper pick just coming in. It looks like they are going to be able to get second as a result of that.
I was very confused when I suddenly was a sniper in the middle of the fight.
Me too.
But I guess that was VNC and it will work? Question mark? I mean, it gets them the point. Advantage or not, be damned at this point. They're on the winning end of the fight currently. But for how long, VNC does what they do best. Press W and see what happens. And it's starting to look pretty good. The RDM already weak, get a couple kills. Surf away from them, it looks nice, but they're just completely surrounded. KN somehow went all the way through mid to get behind. And with the perfect timing onto the medic, and that will do just fine to win one more fight and put themselves in a really good position with Poi clawing out the advantage from this one too.
Alien just hits the Jihad mode button and kills himself on Yak, and they are going to trade Demo Man, which actually could work out quite well for FNF, because now that there's no Demo Man, this choke is entirely free, no explosive classes available. They're just going to be running in here, and Poi, for some reason, went to the low ground. Easily forced there from ALX, I can't speak anymore. And Brugeman is on the high ground in second, so he's going to be just taking that high ground very early on. Gets the defense going on second, so they can't really do anything or take any ground. But Varnu is going to be on top of him, manages to get the kill, and High is going to clear up onto QB as well. So Aliens decides he's walking into second as well to feed his life away, and that is actually a full wipe there, Dum. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, that is how that goes here, and as I say that, I crashed, so good luck, Lucky.
Thank you very much. VNC going to continue their shove in towards last here, and Juxta is going to die, and it's going to be a 3-2. Incredible stuff there coming up from VNC. Very, very easy peasy for them. They put on their domination shoes here, by the looks of things. They just kept running at them the entire time. On that mid-fight, they took that Uber. Only just got RDM for some goddamn reason by jumping up to the high ground with Varnu, and the rest of them just fed their lives away one by one on the second, trying to salvage what they could, but unfortunately could do absolutely sweet fuck all. So now we've got another mid-fight happening with VNC, going very, very aggressive very early on here, but they can't really do too much here, so they're going to back off with DuMmTm and Fugazi, both on the low ground here, trying to do something. DuMmTm's going to get floated in the air with a force push, but a lovely arrow from Poi, but it doesn't stay for that much longer, as they are going to be bombing forwards here. Poi's going to be the last man, really, running out of this mid, and it's going to be these last two red players getting cleaned up here, as High and Fugazi going to get cleaned up by Alien. So Alien really pulling it out in this mid, and Poi with 50% Uber. Dum, are you alive now?
Give me 3 seconds.
I'm giving you 3
I
seconds.
shall join you back into the action here. I want to see what's happening. You make it sound very exciting, so I don't want to miss out on any of this.
Yeah, FNF have managed to get this mid-fight and have managed to get on second, and they have this full ad to play with. I say full ad. Poi is currently building rapidly since he did manage to survive that entire mid-fight, so he's going to be up to 85%. And also they're building the sentry gun with a pyro in front of it as well. So FNF are not going to have the easiest push in the world in towards last. So unsure how they want to take this one. We'll see what they've prepared, what they've come up with in their scrims now. You'll get to see kind of what routes they want to take, whether it's going to be soldier spam from river, whether they're going to spam from main, or if they're going to be doing this pressure cooker style. But with this pyro, it's going to slow them down quite a lot. So FNF just needs to identify what's out there. Juxta is going to be spotting it from river, sees the pyro, sees the sentry gun, and see what they can do here. But Fugazi, very aggressive in main with the conch, is going to be able to pick up ALX there, and Varnu is going to start moving his sentry gun into position. So looks like the game plan from VNC is just build this conch, get the sentry gun and the pause that they want, and just play from there. Dum, are you alive?
Not
now?
conch, actually. I double-checked. It's battalions backup, which doesn't change a ton, I guess. Personally, I like battalions more anyway, but it comes down to what you're really trying to do here. It's just guaranteed more survivability, where the conch, you really have to do something while you're doing it. So if you're just jumping in with the rest of the team, it still has the impact you want. We'll see what the plan on last is. As is common knowledge for everybody, this is the best last one in the game. you have actual options here. As long as you don't walk into KN over and over and die, which unfortunately is exactly what they keep doing in main right now. They're just expecting things to change, but he's just still there waiting for them.
Yeah, he's just constantly building this battalion's back up, and that is going to be a massive nuisance for when they want to do this push, because they're coming with their Uber, trade the Ubers, and then you're facing essentially another Uber right in your face, 40% damage reduction to your entire team, or whatever the flip it is, I keep forgetting. But looks like FNF are just going to be playing very, very, very slowly in second. Not really doing too much as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the QB Sniper's trying his best, but he's not given much freedom. KN just lives in the main door, making it really difficult to keep that working here. For what it's worth, you were right, by the end of last round, VNC just had full control, just looking really dominating. If that was how they played the entire map, this would have been over by now, but unlike map 1, the French is actually able to slow them down quite a bit, which we've seen once more here on last. A lot easier on last, I suppose, as well, but managed to do it a lot more over the course of the whole map, regardless of which point we're on. So that's a good sign, right? There's 6 minutes left, gotta get at least one round to claw some points out of this one.
QB's
just killing momentum is good for that.
QB has managed to figure out the weakness in the hold of VNC, which is that they had no one postured towards water, but they do manage to run TRM into water and pick up QB there. So what they're doing on FNF is like RDM is playing super far back in river. They're not supporting these classes that are going in with any amount of healing, so they're really unable to get much going. As far as I'm concerned, they can send a player into water all they want, but it can't be a scout. I believe QB's just going to come up on spy or something. Nope, he's committed to the scout class by the looks of things, so he's going to be being chilling, coming back to the fight. But I really think that they need some kind of off class here, or they need to come up with a play absolutely stat. I feel like they could do the double soldier jump into water thing, and you just play from there and just spam the gun, pressure cooker. Alien's figured it out as well. He's going to be spamming from launch pad. Brugeman's done it. They're doing it! They're doing it!
There we go, the 2 for 1. Working nicely so far. Both incredibly weak though, they can't do anything else.
Yeah, they can get arrows in water. RDM's going to be shooting those arrows down from river. Does land into them, and QB's going to go for another fight here. Fugazi on this point is going to get knocked off it here. And Brugeman's going to be continuing to just play this angle here, fighting against Fugazi, who's on that high ground. He does not get an arrow. They're going to play the point. It comes in! They've done it! 3-3. Very well done. When you play these Gullywash last, you really have to try and identify where the weaknesses are in the holds. And they did manage to eventually do it, but it did take a lot of time done to do.
Yeah, single KN just wasn't good enough there in the end. He did so much work in main, but had to take the ramp spot eventually after he died and under. And suddenly, they just kept running at it, and the wall cracked eventually. 3-3 scoreline with only 4.5 minutes left to go. Round timer irrelevant. This is just going to the bitter end now.
Let's see what they can do here. VNC is going to be taking this side, their own side again, and ALX going down immediately. But we've got QB running in. Can he find Poi? He misses absolutely everything and goes down. But all these red players are missing HP. Fugazi needs an arrow, and Big Door does receive one. Brugeman actually hiding in drop down. Looks like he wants to go for some kind of block, but thinks twice about it. Is just going to continue sitting there, waiting for a play to come out. Gets on top of Vanu here, lands the first rocket, but Vanu is away, and actually, never mind, he's not away. He does land the long-range rocket onto Poi that splashes and manages to get it there. Can he get the next rocket onto Poi? The answer likely to be no. Nice bomb in, does manage to get high, and they do get the force in the end, and manage to block this cap. So RDM is out there with the rest of his team. They pop out the supercharge on the second point, going to be running in towards Choke as well, but Poi is going to be retreating with the rest of VNC in tow. But Poi running onto the low ground is going to be the death of him by the looks of things as he goes down an elbow, and it's just going to be Yak in this choke point. RDM dancing around him, and they do manage to get all the kills that they need on the side of FNF to get this mid.
Full force ahead, this is gonna do it. Big mad kill to get here as well. RDM with so much advantage once Poi spawns, 30%. A little more than that even, 35 or so with 3 minutes left. That might just be enough. They're getting mid already. Second is, who's even there? KN just sees what's up, but much too late to get a jump going and make up for the Uber situation being this bad. And this could just be the game-winning round right here. It's a little bit more time left to play afterwards, but not losing for 2 minutes sounds very doable if they just win for the next few seconds now. Can they do it? Everything's up on defense here. They know what they have to do, but that doesn't make their task last any easier for the defending team.
It doesn't, and it also looks like FNF going to be going for this river push by the looks of things. A very interesting choice to take. When you're against a Pyro, they're going to be heading in here. Alien's going to be trying to just layer stickies, but the Pyro just reflects everything. They're just going to play on top of this point. Alien's getting battered in the main. but this sentry gun doesn't cover enough by the looks of things. They're getting all the picks that they need. It's going to be ALX on this point. High in the last man standing with 3 HP. Gets cleaned up. It's going to be 4-3 dumb. FNF are doing it.
Somehow, the sentry gun was the last thing to go down in this push, which is a bit questionable, but all things considered, really good push. They got really good work done up top of point. I was watching mostly in under there. Just once again, the two-player rush under, flash scout solely after, just rush the demo man, and bait him to take the fight with the single scout, and just make quick work of that. Opens up the cap time for everyone to take advantage of. And at that point, who cares, the gun is still there. You can just stand on point where you're safe from the gun.
Let's see what VNC want to do here. They have to go fast if they want to win this one now. And Tiram is going to be going off the high ground. QB also just going to be running in here. ALX doing exactly the same thing. Brugeman's in, they get Poi. And RDM needs to be the sole point of focus here if you're VNC. And they're doing exactly that. But RDM's dancing around them, but does eventually get cleaned up here. Brugeman on the low ground as well. He's on 5 HP. He's not going to survive for much longer. And does eventually go down. A full wipe for FNF. Now this really opens things up for VNC.
Chat, what's copium in French? We need a lot of that in chat right now. They have to not lose for a minute 20. That's all they have to do on for offense to make this a tie somehow out of how map 1 looked. That looked very unlikely, but they clawed this fine. VNC with their backs against the wall pick up the crit kick. Little do they know, so does RDM. Both teams this desperate to have one more shot at any Uber charge at all up for the same end result here.
Yeah, we need some real pure croissanttium, you know, for FNF at the moment.
Sure, let's go with that.
They are sat on the low ground in their last point. RDM has no real position whatsoever here. 65% on that Kritzkrieg, 100% now for Poi. Let's see what VNC are going to do. Are they going to screw it up massively, or are they going to win it? Tiram jumping in through main into a sentry gun, going down to 1 HP, gets the small pack, was on fire, but also we've got Poi having... Did he use? When
They
did he
did
use?
use. They used from top left, and there was so much sticky spam on the zone in front of them that just didn't allow them to take any space at all.
did not
get the
even
gun
see.
very quickly, but the crit is up now as well, and that could just be a game changer. Oh no!
Oh! The bomb from Tiram getting on top of the point. They're going to stand on top of it. Can they do anything here? Everyone's scrapping all over this point.
Yeah,
it's
just
just
point no one's
with
looking.
the clutch, with the pipes. Can he find Juxta? No, he can't. Juxta with the defense. 6 seconds remain. GG is the call. It's going to be 4-3 for 4 fence on Gullywash. Mega comeback after that first map that we saw. Absolutely dominant from VNC, and they turn it around on Gullywash. Incredible stuff for 4 fence there. Really well played.
After that crit got denied, they got to be kicking themselves for not being on Medigun to just have an Uber to stand on point with. Instead, this is what they're ending up having to get through to win this round finally, win that last fight. But it just about worked, despite surprise Yak from under trying his best to bring this back. 1v3 will not be his, this map will not be his. 3 points each is the end result of week 1. After map 1, they gotta be feeling a little bit upset about this result, I think, on VNC, but it's a well-deserved 3 points at bare minimum, even if they might have wanted more.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty incredible game from both teams that really showed their mettle. I think that 4 fence had a really, really good mental comeback, I think, in this game, especially RDM. Really, really pulling it out of the bag this time around. Some really good survivability from him, I'd say, throughout this game, despite how aggressive the entire game was, and that is reflected in the kills and in the damage and in the deaths. You'll just see a lot of kills happen in this game, Dom.
Yeah, this was a mess. It's somewhere in the middle, but despite that, the Frenchies managed to slow things down for a short moment there at some point and just collect themselves nicely and bring this all the way back from 3-1 down. Miracles being happening here.
Yeah, real miracles happening. So, I'll give me 2 seconds. I'm getting the logs up on my screen. There we go. I can see them now. So, also, we've got High with 30 kills, top of the kills on.
But not on top of the damage.
Not on top of the damage, no. There was some real damage being dealt by Brugeman this game. 10k damage.
Yeah, I said I wanted to see this man perform well this season. I've seen this man a couple of times in the low lifts, of course, but the land really was a stand-up performance for him in recent memory, and did he ever deliver now to just keep up the performance? Really, really good stuff all around.
Yeah, really, really good. And also, I've got to give big shout-outs to KN, I think, and also Vanu. An excellent first performance from both of them as well. I think KN had some really, really, really tight bombs. finding a lot of really crucial kills and really coordinating with Tiram a lot as well. They just together were a force to be reckoned with, and I think they'll go away from this thinking it's a bit of a shame they didn't pick up Gullywash, especially considering how far ahead they were in the previous few rounds and how well it was going for them overall. But getting a little bit sloppy, maybe a little bit complacent, maybe, and 4Fence just staying solid and just really bringing it back in this game. And I think that this will be a learning point for VNC and for 4Fence going forwards. I think 4Fence are going to have a bit of a spring in their step going into the next few games.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one here. They can do this. They can do so much more this season, I think, if this is what they look like when they really just get their game together. Didn't work so well map 1, maybe, but hey, you don't have to worry about process for 2 months about. So why worry at all? It's really on VNC now to step up the game. They have, I believe, top 5 Rocket next week. The French gauntlet is just waiting for them this season, it seems. And unarguably, I think, with all due respect to 4Fence, not getting any easier next week either. So they really got to step up the game here. Like I said, some good performances and all that. But if it's not quite all working together at the end here, if you just can't get the focus going when it's really needed at the end there, and you're not going to get the points you feel like you deserve.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, did you manage to check on Street Debiles versus the other one? See the score?
Spoilers for anyone in the vault that did not see the other game yet. If you do want to see that, TFTV2, Team Fortress TV2 on Twitch, we'll have that vault for you up as well. I just glanced over the scores while we were in like the pauses, and it looked like it was the result of our map 1, like twice, kind of deal.
Yep, 6-0.
Fight being put up by Street Devils, but not nearly enough of one. League of Shadows getting well as a winner, it seems. Interesting to see how that roster will perform as well. And like I said, a somewhat similar position here where some of them have played together, but there's also a couple of new faces here and there. They, I think, have an American scout too, which I don't think is like a top NA scout either. So that's going to be interesting to see how newish face from American top tier 2 even will also perform with the rest of Europe here as well. Always interesting to see that. And then see how their season goes. On top of that, on that note, I will check very quickly who is up next for the boys on 4Fence. It's going to be an uphill battle for them all season. Up next, it is none other than League of Shadows. And if those guys can fend off the new Prem boys, basically, on the Czech roster, how much do they have to fear about 4Fence in that case, right? We'll see. We'll see next week, I suppose. Before that, we have 2 more games coming up. Sunday is Top 5 Rocket against New Panther. Really interesting game, I think, as well. I expect those to be really, really close and also be in contention for playoffs. So that's going to matter immediately for them here. And on Tuesday next week, we have the big one already. It's going to be probably a long time before we see these 2 playing again after that. But this is the first showcase for TF2 Easy against Witness Gaming.
Ooh, yeah, that's going to be an excellent game. I'm really looking forward to that Tier 2 Easy game versus Witness, so that'll give us a really good understanding of the rest of the season. But I feel like you've rounded off everything that we need to talk about. So any shouts from you, Mr. Dr. Underscore, who's been sitting with this evening? No.
Well, shoutouts to his connection trying its hardest. Apparently it died a tiny bit in the middle there, but it was fine otherwise, I think. So it managed to fight through at the end for you all to keep watching this game, and it worked out in the end, and we got to see a really good game for it. So I'm glad it all worked out in the end on the technical side here. I guess from me, shoutouts, I don't know, to Yak. He's surprisingly good to work with in order to get production going. So, gotta give credit to that.
Yeah, big shouts to Yak. Shouts to both teams for this evening's games. Shouts to you, Dum, for casting with me this evening. Always a pleasure. And for Dr. Underscore for producing. You guys don't not get enough credit throughout the season, but I think this was a great week 1. Also, shouts to the Nunya Dota boys. So, GG's, ladies and gentlemen. There is a cast on Sunday, like Dum mentioned previously, so we'll catch you in the next one. Peace, guys.